and welcome to the channel Learn with Learners. Today we are going to learn the topic preamble. And in this video we will cover the three things. First, what is preamble, and second, what are the things which are mentioned in the preamble. In simple we can say that we will read the text of preamble, and at last we will understood that it is the part of constitution or not. So simply understood, we will understood the three things in this video. First one is the what is preamble, second text of the preamble, and third one is the preamble part of Indian constitution or not, because there is always a confusion that preamble is part of the constitution or not, because preamble was the last item which was passed by the constituent assembly. So we will look on these topics in great detail, don't worry. So at first I want to go through what is the preamble. So learn what is preamble. So before a study, there is a beautiful definition that preamble is, it is the understood, it is the preface of Indian constitution. It is the definition of preamble, that it is the preface of the Indian constitution. And you know what is the preface? If you open the any book, then you will look that after one or two pages there is a preface. There is a page on the top that preface is written. And preface means what? Preface means, I think, summary, or you can say that if you read the preface of the any book, then you will be able to understood that what are the things, what are the text, or the what are the things which are mentioned in the book. Simple to that, if you understood the preamble, then it is very easy to understood about the Indian constitution, what the Indian constitution wants, what the Indian constitution promotes in our country. So it is just like the preface of the Indian constitution, nothing more, nothing else. So understood, it is the preface of Indian constitution, means it is the short summary, or it is the short summary or the short note of the Indian constitution, we can say. And second one is the, if you look at the another definition, then sometime it is said that it tells us about what is constitution, what is Indian constitution all about. As I have already told that preamble tells us that what is all about the Indian constitution. And third one is the definition is that it is a key, it is very very important, it is a key to unlock the mind of drafter and writer of, or drafter or writer of Indian constitution. So understood what is preamble? It is a key to unlock the mind of drafter and writer of Indian constitution. Means what does it means? Means if you read the preamble, then you will be able to know about the ideas, views of the drafter of Indian constitution. Because suppose if the drafter has drafted the Indian constitution, then Indian constitution, what would be the content, the mind, what would be the mindset of the drafter? All these opinions and the views of the drafter will be mentioned in the Indian constitution. So it is also said that it is a key to unlock the mind of drafter and writer of Indian constitution. So till now we have understood that what is the preamble. At first we understood that preamble is just like the preface, and it is also referred as a preface of Indian Constitution, just like the book. Also it tells us about the what is Indian Constitution all about. It is a key to unlock the mind of drafter and writer of the Indian Constitution. When we read the preamble, then we can easily understood that what was the mindset of the drafters of the Indian Constitution. And one also, sometimes it is also said that preamble is nothing but it gives us a insight into the Indian Constitution. It is said that it gives us insight into Indian Constitution. Means what does it means? Means that it is just like a means in simple we can say that if we read the preamble, then we can see the Indian Constitution. What does it mean? It gives us insight into the Indian Constitution. Means it tells us about the internal matter of the Indian Constitution if we read the preamble. So these were the some definitions of the preamble related. So understood. Now we will go through the text of. Now we are going to learn the text of the Indian preamble, and we will understood what is the actually the preamble, what are the text or the we will go through the preamble line by line. So at first, before going to the through the text of the Indian preamble, let's me give you some ideas about the Indian preamble. So if you look at the Indian preamble, just wait 1 second. Now if you look at the Indian preamble, it is divided into the 4 parts. It is divided into mainly the 4 parts. If you look at the first part, second part, third part and fourth part, so it is mainly divided into the 4 part. So look at the text of the preamble. At first, what is the text? We the people of India. That is the first part. We the people of India, and this part is also known as the source of constitution. Second part, having solemnly resolved constitute India into the sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. So look this part. This is second part. This is known as the nature of state. Means nature of union, that is our country. And third, to secure its all citizen, means justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. This, look at this part. This is the third part, and this part is referred as the objective of Indian Constitution. Objective of Indian Constitution. And last part is the 26th day of the November 1949. That is 26 January 1949. It talks about the adoption date of Indian Constitution. So look at the first part. What is written in the first part? We the people of India, means source of, it tells us about the source of constitution, means who wrote the constitution, what is the source of constitution, who are the drafter, who are the creator of the constitution, means we the people of India. This means that Indians are the drafter, Indians are the source of the constitution. Means who wrote the constitution? People of the India. That is the first part. Means it talks about the source of constitution, who wrote the constitution. That is the talks about the मतलब कि उसके मतलब source of constitution, means who, what is the source of constitution, means we the people of India, means we all Indians. Second one is the we constitute India into the sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. What does it mean? It means it tells the nature of the state. It tells the characteristic of the state. What are the characteristics of the India? Means what are the features of the India? Means that features of or characteristic of the India is that it is a sovereign nation. It is a socialist nation. It is a secular nation. It is a democratic nation. It is a republic nation. Means you understood nature of the state. Means it tells us about that characteristic of the India. And third one is the to secure its all citizen. Means justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Means here objective of Indian constitution. Means what, why the Indian constitution has been drafted. What are the aims of the Indian constitution? Then aims of Indian constitution is that to provide justice to the people, to provide liberty, to promote equality, to promote the fraternity, to provide fraternity, dignity of the individual. So understood what is the objective of Indian constitution? That is mentioned in the preamble. And at last, that is the adoption date of the Indian constitution, that is 26 November 1949. So what we have to study in this, we have to study that first one is the first part, that is the source of constitution. Who are the actual the source of constitution? Who wrote the constitution? Means here directly or indirectly referred as the people of the India are themselves the drafter of Indian constitution. And second one is the nature of state, that is nature of India. What are the characteristic of the India? So Indian state's characteristic are that it is a sovereign nation, it is a socialist, it is a secular, it is a democratic nation, it is a republic nation. And next one is that objective of Indian constitution, what the Indian constitution wants. So objective of Indian constitution is that it promote the liberty, equality, it provides justice and also the fraternity. And last part is the date of adoption. Means in preamble last part talks about the date of adoption of the Indian constitution, that is 26th November 1949. So now we will learn these words, these parts in great detail. So let's move ahead. And now you understood that in preamble we have to study kya? In preamble we have to study four things. First, source. Second, nature of India. And third one is the objective of constitution. And last one is the date of adoption of the Indian constitution. So first one is the very simple. What is the source of Indian constitution? We, means who? Indian. And second one is the nature of a state. Then we have to understood that as we have learned that under the nature of a state, nature of a state, nature of a state, we have the five things. First one is the sovereign. First one is the sovereign, SOVEREIGN, sovereign. So looks, what do you mean by the sovereign? What do you mean by the sovereign nation? Means that sovereign nation means kya? What means? It said that India as a nation, India is nothing but it is a sovereign nation. What does it tells? Preamble tells that India is a sovereign nation. What does it means? It means that India can make, unmake any decision for people without interference of other country. This is the definition of sovereignty or the sovereign nation. Means what does it means? India is a sovereign nation. What does it means? It means that India can make, unmake the any decision. India can make, unmake the any decision for people without the interference of any other country. In simple, we can say that India can draft the any laws, India can frame the any laws like GST laws, like land reforms, etc. for people without the permission and suggestion of any country. Suppose if the Modi government have to draft the any laws or frame the any laws, then there is no need of the Modi government or the India as a nation to consult to the other nation. It can take the decision independently. It is independent. It should not rely upon the other nation for the any decision or many for any other things. So understood what is the how the India is a sovereign nation. India is a sovereign nation because it can enact the any laws. It can make the any laws on its own without the interference, suggestion, permission of the other nation. So understood how India is a sovereign nation. Now we will understood how India is a democratic nation. Second nature of the India was the democracy. That is democratic nation. It is a democratic nation. What does it means? It means that creation and exist. What does democracy? It means creation plus existence. Creation plus existence of government is by participation of people through election. Means if a country is democratic, then what would be the characteristics? Then it must be that the government must be created and its existence depend upon the people. In simple, we can say that creation and existence of the government is by the participation of people through election. Means that when if suppose a country is democratic, then the government of that country must be created through holding the election, and where there should be the participation of the whole people. So this is the democratic nations. These are the democratic nations. So India is a democratic nation because in our country the government is formed. How India is a democratic nation? India is a democratic nation because in India government is formed by how? Through Lok Sabha elections. Through Lok Sabha elections. So it is where each and every individual participated in that election. So we can say that in government is created by the election, through the process of election. And second, existence. Suppose in our country if the government is formed through the participation of all citizens, and suppose if the people are unsatisfied with the current government, first one we have considered that creation should be done through the election, and existence also should be dependent on the people. Suppose in the case of India, if the people are unsatisfied with current government, then they can punish the government by dismissing it and creating a new government through other elections. So we understood how the India is a democratic nation, because in India the government is created through the election process, through participation of the each and everyone, and second one is the its existence also depends upon the peoples. So we understood what is the real meaning of the democracy. In simple, there is also a very very beautiful that democracy means what? It is for people, by the people, and for people, by people, and perhaps for people, by people, and of the people. It is a very beautiful phrase that democracy matlab nothing but it is the government is for the people, by the people, and of the people. So understood what is actually the democracy means. And third characteristic of the India is that it is republic nation. Third one is that it is republic nation. So at first we have to understand what is republic. So republic means nothing. If the head of a state is elected one, then it is called republic nation. If in any nation if the head of a state is elected, then it is called that country is republic. Or in simple we can say that there is no any hereditary monarch. There is no any hereditary monarch in any country where there is head of the state is not hereditary monarch. If any nation head of state is elected, then we can simply say that that nation is republic. And in other word we can also say that if there is no hereditary monarch for the head of the state, then that is country is also referred as a republic. And if you look at the India, then India is a republic nation. How? Because in India, who is the head? Head of the state is president. And how president is? Because president, and we know that for the post of president we have the election. So how the head of a state is elected? Through election. That's why it is called that India is a republic nation. And in our country, president post is not any hereditary post. It is the post where the people are elected. And also it is said that political sovereignty is vested the people's action, not the single individual like the human. Not understood. Looks at the other things. And if you, for example, which nations are not republic? For example, in Britain, if you look at the Britain, head of a state is a hereditary post, not elected post. That's why the Britain is not republic nation. So now we will move ahead to the next characteristic of the Indian nation, that is the socialist. Fourth one is the socialist. So understood what do you mean by socialist? In our country, if you look at the in our country, then our country is not completely socialist, but it is the, in our country, Gandhian socialism is there. What does it means? Understood. Socialist. You have heard the word socialist. So understood that in our country, Gandhian socialism or Fabian socialism is promoted. In India, Gandhian or Fabian socialism is promoted. Understood what actually, before that, understood what actually the socialism is. You understood socialism means what? Socialism, socialist country. A country is completely socialist if in that country each and everything is under the government, under the control of government. If each and everything which lies under the in this country are under the control of government, there is no any concept of the private companies or the private things, then that is called socialism. Actually that socialist is that socialist means what? Absence of private players, only there is government and government, nothing else, nothing more. Socialist nation, what does the socialist means? Socialist means that nothing should be the private, everything should be the governmental, means complete absence of the private players. That is called socialist or the socialism. So understood, socialism is nothing but when the government is controlling each and everything in the country, then that is called socialist. But our country is not the socialist, because in our country we have the concept of private players. We have the private players like the Mukesh Ambani, and there are so many, I don't want to check the name, but there are so many private players in our country. Our country is not socialist, but it is near to the socialist, because in our country we have the properties of both types. government's property as well as the private property. So understood that in India Gandhian or Fabian socialism is promoted. So understood what is Gandhian socialism, what is Fabian socialism. So before that I want to say you that you have understood that socialist actually what does it means. Socialism is nothing but government. If everything is controlling the government, that is called socialist. But in the case of India, everything is not controlled by the government. There are some properties or any other things which are under the control of private players. Everything the government is not controlling. So in India, what does Fabian socialism is promoted? Fabian socialism is promoted. So at first you understood what is the Fabian socialism. Fabian socialism, look at the text. Fabian socialism, what Gandhian socialism tells. No, Fabian socialism, Fabian socialism believes that for inequality to be eradicated from the society, means you have to eradicate the inequality from the society. Then Gandhian socialism believes that we don't need to the violent revolution, but we need intervention of government so that we can eliminate the gap between the rich and poor. It is the thoughts of the Fabian socialism. But in the case of India, understood in simple, very simple way. But in simple we can say that there is no need to abolish the private property, but private property must be kept under check of the government. So understood. Socialist, actually socialist and Fabian socialism, what is the difference? Fabian socialism. Socialist means what? Socialist means that everything will be under the control of government. There would be no concept of the private property or the private players. But in the case of Fabian socialism, it tells that there should be the property of both government as well as the private. But it is there should be the private property also, but private property should not be independent. Private property must be under check and control of government. This is the difference between socialist actually and Fabian socialism. Socialism and Fabian socialism. Socialism mainly focus that everything should be under the control of government. There should be no concept of private. But Fabian socialism believes that there should be the concept of private along with the government, but the private players should be bounded, should be answerable to the government. Private players should not be independent, and government should check or keeps these private properties or the private players under control. So India is a Fabian socialism promoted country. It is not the socialist. It is near to socialist because in government also and private also, but it is they are under the control of the government. So simply understood that how India is a Fabian socialism promotion country. So understood that suppose if there is a private building, recently the coronavirus had entered in our country. So suppose there is a hospital, and suppose this is a hospital of the private one, and suppose this is the hospital of private one, and suppose here there are the so many beds. So if the government wants that this private property could be used for larger public good, then the government could take this private property under his control. So understood what does it means? It means that in our country there is the provision for the private property, but private property must be under control and checked by the government. Private properties are not independent. So understood what actually Fabian socialism means. In simple, Fabian socialism means nothing but it tells that there should be the property of both government as well as the private players, but the property of the private players must be under check and control by the government from time to time. So understood what is this. Now let's move ahead. Now we will look at the secular. Fifth character is the India is a secular nation. What does it mean? India is a secular nation. What does secular means? Actually understood. Secular means what? A state protects all citizen equally, but not uphold any one religion as a state religion. This is the definition of secular. What does actually secularism means? Secular means what? A state protects all religion, citizens not, sorry, all religion. A state protects all religion equally, but not uphold the any one religion as a state religion. So India is a secular state. Now look at the, if you look at the other state nations except India, like Pakistan, you look that Pak, it is not the secular state because Islamic religion is upheld as a state religion there. If you look at the Bangladesh, in Bangladesh also the Islamic religion is upheld as a state religion. If you look at the Myanmar, Burma, you look that Buddhism, that is the state religion of these countries. So in India there is no such concept. India is a secular country. Here no any particular religion is upheld as a state religion. There is one of the, this is one of the very very beautiful or the great achievement of the Indian democracy, because if you look at our neighbors, then they uphold the particular religion as a state religion, but in our country there is no any state one religion which is upheld as a state religion. That's why it is said that India is a secular state. So understood how India is a secular. India is a secular because it protects all religion equally, plus it does not uphold any one religion as a state religion, unlike any one religion as a state religion, unlike our neighbors like Pak, who have upholded the Islamic as a state religion, Bangladesh, who have upholded the Islamic as a state religion. If you look at the Myanmar, if you look at the Burma, then we found that Buddhism is there and upholded as a state religion. So till now we have understood about the nature of a state. So what you have understood under the nature of a state? At first we have understood that India is a sovereign nation. India is a sovereign nation. Sovereignty means what? Take, make, unmake any laws, any decision without suggestion, intervention or any permission of the other state. Means independent. India is independent. Second one is the republic. No, second one is the democracy. Democratic nation. India is a what? Democratic nation. What does it mean? It means that in India government is formed through holding the election where the Indians participated and they votes and they form the government. So the government is formed through the election process. And next one is the republic. What does it mean? Republic means the head of a state must be the elected, not any hereditary monarch. Like in Britain we have the hereditary monarch. So in India, in the case of India, as we know that the head of a state is the president, who is a elected one. And next one is the socialist. What does it mean? Socialist means, we understood that India is not completely a socialist state, but it promotes the Fabian socialism concept. Fabian socialism concept. Fabian socialism concept means that in the case of socialism, only the government should be there, nothing, there would be the no concept of the private. But in the case of Fabian socialism, there would be the both government as well as the private, but the private players must be under check and control by the government. And if the government thinks that the private properties could be used for the larger public good, then the government can over check these private properties for the larger public good. There, as I have told you that suppose there is a hospital, and that hospital is of the private one, and if the government thinks that we have the suppose coronavirus are come, and if there are lots of the patients, and there is no any place where they could be treated in the government hospitals, then government could take this private hospital under his control, and he can admit all these patients to the hospital. So we can say that this is the Fabian socialism. And at last we learn that India is a secular nation. How it is a secular nation? India is a secular nation because it protects all citizens equally. It does not uphold any one religion as a state religion, and it is one of the great achievement of the India, because if you look at our neighbors, then we found that they have already upholded any one religion as a state religion, like Pak, Islamic religion is there as a state religion. Bangladesh, Islamic religion is there as a state religion. Myanmar, where the Buddhism is there as a state religion. So understood what does actually it means. And so till now we have understood about the what second part of the preamble, that is the nature of, that talks about the nature of India. And third, that is what is third? Third is the objective of, third part of the preamble talks about objective of Indian Constitution. So in third part we will learn about the objective of Indian Constitution. So what were the mention in the objective of Indian Constitution? At first there was mention of justice. At first there was mention of justice. Justice, social, political and economic. So understood how the Indian Constitution promotes the social justice, how it promotes the political justice, how it promotes the economic justice to the people. So look at one by one. At first we will look at the social justice. What does it mean? Social justice, how the Indian Constitution promotes the social justice. Then we can simply say that there is no any discrimination. There is no any discrimination. There is no discrimination among citizens. On which basis? On the basis of race, caste, religion, sex, place of birth. So we can say that there is social justice. There is social justice. So understood what is actually the social justice means? That social justice means that there should not be any discrimination among the citizen on the basis of race, caste, religion, sex, place of birth or the gender, other things. So here, and our country fulfill it, because if you go through the constitution, then we found that in article perhaps 14, in 15, all these promotes the social justice. Now we will learn one by one in the Indian Constitution how it is the, but what we are learning here, we are learning in short what the actually the Indian Constitution is. Preamble is nothing but it is the short, it is the key, it is a why we are reading the preamble, We are reading the preamble so that understood that what are the things mentioned in the Indian Constitution. So in preamble what is mentioned? Social justice. Means we can understood that Indian Constitution there would be the provision related to the social justice, like there should not be the discrimination on the basis of race, caste, religion, gender, place of birth, etc. So second one is the political justice. How our country support or the promote the political justice to its citizen. Then our country ensure that there is political justice because we have the right, we have the universal adult suffrage and right, that is the right to vote, and right to vote is given to each and every citizen irrespective of the race, caste, religion or the other things. It is given to the each and every citizen. So we can say that political justice is here. So understood how the political justice is promoted by the Indian Constitution, because right to vote is guaranteed by our Indian Constitution and it is the political justice. Now look at the economic justice. Third one is the economic justice. How Constitution promotes the economic justice. Economic justice. What actually economic justice means? India as a state promotes elimination of inequality of wealth, income, property. So we could say that it promotes the economic justice. Look, understood. In the case of India, economic justice is promoted. Then how the economic justice is promoted? Then if you look at the Indian Constitution, then you will find that there are some provisions for eradication of inequality in the related to the which are related to wealth, income and property. So India promotes what? Economic justice. Means in Indian Constitution there are some provisions which does not lead to the inequality, and these provisions promotes that there should be the equality while distribution of the wealth, while distribution of the income, while distribution of the property. So economic justice is there, and you have to learn that next what we have to learn. Next one is the so justice we have completed. What is actually the justice is? So now we will learn liberty. That is second one is the liberty. Liberty means simply the freedom. What does it mean? Freedom. We have the freedom of ideas, views, opinion, expression, worship, faith, etc. So understood? We have the what? Freedom of ideas, freedom of views, freedom of opinions. Means what does it mean? Means that if you suppose Indian Constitution, what does? If you look at the Indian Constitution, then there is Article 19 clause 1 clause A, and it tells that it talks about the freedom of speech and expression. Freedom here, freedom of speech means what does the liberty, freedom. Then look at first Article 19 clause 1 clause A, which is the provision of Indian Constitution. Then how the Indian Constitution promotes liberty? The Indian Constitution promotes liberty through Article 19 clause 1 clause A. And what is the what are the provisions of the Article 19 clause 1 clause A? Then in Article 19 clause 1 A, 1 clause A, it is written that freedom of speech and expression. What does it mean? Freedom of speech means speak what you want to speak. Freedom of expression, looks, there is very beautiful text. Freedom of expression, what does it mean? Express your ideas, express your views, either through electronic medium, either through pen paper method, either through publishing the books, either through writing the novels, poetries, prose, any medium you can use and you can express your ideas and views. Also we have the liberty to adopt any religion. Also we have the liberty for worship, you can worship any god. Also you have the adopt any religion or any other things. So Indian Constitution promotes liberty. How does it promotes liberty? Understood. Article 19 clause 1, it talks about the freedom of speech and expression. There are so many other provisions. We will, when we learn the Indian Constitution in great detail by articles one by one, then we will learn how it promotes the liberty. But in short, we have to understood that Indian Constitution promotes liberty. And next one is the equality. Indian Constitution promotes equality, means it eliminates the inequality from the society. And next one is the fraternity. Fraternity, what does it mean? Fraternity means assuring the dignity, integrity of nation, unity of nation. Actually understood what is the fraternity? It is a perhaps a word, difficult word. So understood what is fraternity. Fraternity actually does means, if you look understood that fraternity is nothing but fraternity talks about to maintain or assure dignity of individual, to maintain unity of nation, unity plus integrity of nation. That is called fraternity. In simple, we can say that fraternity means a feeling of all children of same soil plus same motherland. That is called fraternity. Means when we have the feeling of all children of same soil and same motherland, when we feels that we are none but we are not the different ones, we are the children of same soil and same motherland, we are not of the different things, or we have not come from the different, we are all are born from this motherland. So this is called fraternity. In simple, this is for maintaining the unity and dignity of the what? Unity and dignity of nation. So understood what is fraternity means? Fraternity means nothing but it is a feeling of all children of the same soil and same motherland. This is called fraternity. And when we feel that we are the children of same soil, we are the people of same origin, then ultimately it leads to the unity of the individual. And next, at last, I think this would be the last topic. Is preamble part of constitution or not? Is preamble part of constitution or not? Then you have to understood that initially it was said that no. Initially there was a case, Berubari case. It is a very very famous case. Berubari Union case, 1916. In this case, Supreme Court tells that preamble is not the part of constitution, but a very very one of the significant case, that is the Keshav Nanda Bhartiya case. Keshav Nanda Bhartiya versus State of Kerala case, 1973. In this case, Supreme Court tells that yeah, preamble is the part of constitution. So from 1973 we have the idea that preamble is part of constitution, but before that we assume that preamble is not the part of constitution. So if anyone asks you that the preamble is part of constitution or not, then yeah, you can simply say that preamble is part of constitution. Then how? You can say that looks at the judgment of the Keshav Nanda Bhartiya case versus State of Kerala case, where there is the Supreme Court judgment that preamble is what? Preamble is the part of Indian Constitution. And also there are some points that you have to remember about the preamble, that sometimes it is said that preamble, myth or reality. And this statement, what does it mean? It is your time to think and mention in comment box about this. What does it means? Write something about that preamble. It is either a myth or the reality. You have to think on this line and you have to give the answer in the comment box. So I am not going to tell you about this. So understood? Till now what we have understood about the preamble and this that so this was the and also remember that preamble was last item which was passed by the Constituent Assembly. Preamble was last item which was what passed by Constituent Assembly. It was the last item which was passed by the Constituent Assembly. And sometimes also it is said that preamble is not enforceable in the court of law. Preamble is not enforceable in court of law. What does it mean? It means that preamble is not enforceable, it is not applicable in the court of law, that is any court. Means preamble cannot be presented before the any court. It is also said. So these are the some points that you have to remember, that at first it was the last item which was passed by the Constituent Assembly. It is not enforceable in the court of law. This means it is not applicable to the any court in the any court of the India, that is the High Court, Supreme Court, local court. You cannot say that sir looks at the preamble, these are the provisions, so we should do this that means you can't use this preamble in the court. You can use the constitution, you can use the provision of the any constitution in the court, but you can't use the preamble in the because it is said that it is not enforceable in the court of law. Also you have to remember that if you look at the world level, then you found that US Constitution was first constitution. US Constitution was first constitution which began its constitution with preamble. US Constitution was the first constitution which uses the preamble for the first time, nothing else. And in our country also we have the preamble, what we have understood. So looks what we have studied till now what we have studied. So summarize all the topics and let's end that video. First, preamble. What is preamble? So looks at the different definitions, like sometimes it is said that it is a preface of the Indian Constitution. Some tells that it is just like a key to unlock the mind of drafter, creator of the Indian Constitution. It gives a insight into the Indian Constitution. It tells us that what is the Indian Constitution all about. These are the some definitions of the preamble you have to understood. And second, if we look at the text of the preamble, then we found that there are the 4 parts of the Indian Constitution. First talks about the source of Indian Constitution. Means if you look at the Indian preamble, then we found that in preamble it is mentioned that who is the source of the Indian Constitution. Then it is written that we the people of India. If you look at the second part, then we found that nature of India has been described there. Means which type of our country is, where there is written that India is a sovereign nation, India is a democratic nation, India is a republic nation, India is a socialist state, it is a secular state. So what all these characteristics, who tells about the Indian? Preambles. Which part? Second part talks about the nature of state. If you look at the third part, then we found that in third part the objective of Indian Constitution has been described. means what the Indian Constitution wants to promote in the society. It has been described in the part 3rd, that is the objective of Indian Constitution, where it is written that Indian Constitution wants to promote first what? Justice. And in justice there are three types of the justice: social, political, economical. Also, what the Indian Constitution wants to promote is that it wants to promote the first one is the second one is the it wants to promote the liberty, means freedom to the people. What the next? Equality. Our constitution wants to promote the equality. Next one is the fraternity. Fraternity. What does fraternity? Fraternity means our constitution promotes that there should be the unity, there should be the integrity of the nation. So what does it means? You understood fraternity means? Fraternity means feeling of all children of same soil and same motherland. That is called fraternity. And then we learned that is preamble part of constitution. Then we learned that at first that before 1973 there was a famous case, Berubari versus Union of the India case 1960, in which it was said that preamble is not the part of Indian Constitution. But in the case on Nanda Bhartiya case versus the state of Kerala, it is said that Indian Constitution contains also the preamble. That means the preamble is the part of Indian Constitution. And then what we learn? Then we learn that I have given you a question, that preamble, a myth or reality? A myth or reality? You have to write it in the comment box. And next one is what? Next we learn that. Then we have learned that US Constitution was first one to use the preamble. And then we learned that in India the last item which was passed by the Constituent Assembly was preamble. Then we learned that preamble is not enforceable in court of law. And this was the all about in this topics or in this video. So at last, thanks. Please like, subscribe and share.